Rotary International's Board of Directors manages the organization, makes policy, and provides guidance to help Rotary clubs thrive. The board consists of 19 members, each of whom serves a 2-year term and brings a wealth of experience to keep Rotary adapting, engaging, and vital. Please welcome the members of the 2020 to 2021 Board of Directors of Rotary International and their partners. From Germany, President Holger and Suzanne Kanak. From India, President-elect Shekhar and Rashi Mehta. From the United States of America, Vice President Jarita and Bruce Salari. From India, Treasurer Bharat and Madhvi Pandya. From Scotland, Tony and Elspeth Black. From Finland, Verpi and Matti Honkala. From the United States of America, Susie and Bill Howe. From the Netherlands, Jan Lucas and Milo Ket. From Greece, Katerina Kotsali Papadimitriou and George Papadimitriou. From the United States of America, Peter and Margaret Kyle. From the United States of America, Floyd and Betty Lou Lancia. From France, Roger and Marie-France Laws. From Taiwan, Surgeon Liu and Grace Yin. From Brazil, Mario Cesar and Denise da Silva de Camargo. From India, Kamal and Sonal Sangvi. From Japan, Katsuhiko and Shigemi Tatsuno. From the United States of America, Stephanie Urchik. From Canada, Valerie and Mark Wafer. From the Republic of Korea, Chang Gon-yim. And from the United States of America, General Secretary and CEO of Rotary International, John and Marga Huko. New to the Board of Directors for 2021-2022, please welcome, from Canada, President nominee Jennifer Jones and Nick Krajicic. From Australia, Jesse and Andrew Harmon. From the Republic of Korea, Won Pyo and Yoon Suk Kim. From Switzerland, Urs and Helene Klen. From India, Mahesh and Amita Kotbagi. From the United States of America, Vicky and Tim Poulis. From England, Nikki Scott. From Peru, Julio Cesar Silva Santesteban and Sara Montalvan de Silva Santesteban. From the United States of America, Elizabeth Yusevich and Dean Mathewson. From India, Venki and Vinita Venkatesh. Thank you for your service.
As Rotary, we often ask ourselves, how do we grow, personally, professionally, and organizationally? The answer is simple. To grow Rotary, we need more Rotary clubs. Let's use Anytown as an example. Anytown is a city of 100,000 people and home to one proud Rotary club. But there are hundreds of other people of action, just like us, who are uniquely qualified to become Rotary members. They share the same drive and represent the values and fundamentals of a Rotary member. So why aren't they members? Well, the current club meets on Monday. There are leaders in any town who can't meet on a Monday. By excluding this segment, the potential members in any town has shrunk. Now consider, what if the meeting is at noon on Monday? There are people who can meet on Monday, but can't meet at noon. So now we have a smaller audience for Rotary in any town. Of the remaining group, some aren't interested in a club with a sit-down lunch and speakers. They are passionate about service, but aren't interested in a traditional club experience. And that is okay. The Rotary Club of any town isn't doing anything wrong. It just doesn't appeal to particular segments of the community. And if we're going to thrive for years to come, we must adapt and embrace change. In any town, we have an opportunity to expand because potential members are everywhere. More than half of the eligible people are prospective Rotary members, waiting to make a bigger impact in their community. But what Rotary Club exists for them? If any town creates new clubs at new times and new places, the hidden potential for Rotary will be revealed. As people of action, we must broaden our reach and provide opportunities to all leaders in the community. Together, all of us can grow Rotary.
Since 1917, the Rotary Foundation has helped Rotarians advance world understanding, goodwill, and peace. The Foundation funds humanitarian activities, from local service projects to global initiatives. And it leads Rotary's worldwide campaigns, such as eradicating polio and promoting peace. Its 15 trustees serve 4-year terms, and the General Secretary attends all board meetings as an officer of the Foundation. Please welcome the 2020-2021 trustees of the Rotary Foundation and their partners. From Sri Lanka, the Rotary Foundation Trustee Chair, K.R. Ravi and Varnathi Ravindran. From the United States of America, the Rotary Foundation Trustee Chair-elect, John and Judy Germ. From England, the Rotary Foundation Vice Chair, Michael and Alison Webb. From Guatemala, Jorge and Deborah O'Frank. From the United States of America, Brenda and Dick Cressy. From Brazil, Marcelo Demetrio Haik and Maria Silvia Passos Martins Haik. From Denmark, Pahoyen and Annette Loet. From Taiwan, Frederick and Jane Lin. From Kenya, Geeta and Kaushik Manek. From Pakistan, Aziz and Samina Memon. From the Bahamas, Barry and Esther Rassin. From Australia, Ian and Juliet Risley. From Canada, Dean and Rhino Rawls. From India, Gulam Vahamvati. From the Republic of Korea, Sangu Yun and Unsun Yang Yun. And from the United States of America, General Secretary and CEO of Rotary International, John and Marga Huco. New to the Board of Trustees for 2021-2022, please welcome, from the United States of America, Mark and Gay Maloney. From Japan, Akela and Haru Miki. From the United States of America, Larry and Jill Lunsford. Thank you for your service.
Service above self. Planet Earth believes in service too.
Hello, my name is Shaker Mehta. That is a very interesting spacecraft you have there.
Thank you, kind sir. My name is Orvi. I am from planet Elise Ministerium, which means service to others. We call it Elimus for short, and it is in a galaxy far from here. Could you tell me about the pin on your suit?
Well, this is the official logo of Rotary International, and service above self is our official motto. Orbi, it looks like we already have a lot in common. I would be honored to tell you about the service that Rotarians do in our world, and I would love to show you around planet Earth. Should we visit Evanston, Illinois, the headquarters of Rotary International?
Sure! But first, there is one other place I really want to see. Houston. Do you know where that is?
You bet I do. Houston would be a great place to teach you about Rotary. Does your spacecraft have room for two?
Wow. Is this it? Is this Houston?
Yes. Houston is the third largest city in the United States. If you wish to see Houston up close, we should land and explore. Orbi, Houston is a very diverse and international city. The people have a southern charm and hospitality that will make you feel right at home.
Okay, I can't wait to meet them. But first, let me do some research on Houston. Wow, Houston and its history look amazing. Should we get a cowboy hat? Or maybe some cowboy boots? Oh, and a horse animal to ride? And, what does whoop mean?
No, we don't need a horse, but we can get the hat and boots later. For now, we should land at the Space Center Houston. Then there are a few other places we can visit. Space Center Houston is right over there.
Oh, I'm gonna love this. This is gonna be incredible.
Well, what do you think about Houston, Orbi?
You were right, Shaker. Houston is beautiful, and there is so much to see and do here. I am amazed. And, a little tired.
Of course, it has been a busy day. We can stay at the hotel tonight and eat dinner. I want to show you Texas barbecue. And tomorrow, I have some friends I would like to introduce you to.
I love BBQ sauce. It makes me so happy. More, please.
Welcome back to the Virtual International Convention, featuring
Rotary International President Holger Knack,
partner of the Rotary International President, Suzanne Knack,
First Female Rotary Club President, Dr. Sylvia Whitlock,
Rotary International President nominee, Jennifer Jones,
Trustee Chair of the Rotary Foundation and past President of Rotary International, K.R. Ravindran,
General Secretary and CEO of Rotary International, John Hugo,
CEO of Shelterbox, Sanj Shrikanthan,
climate activist and founder of the Rise Up movement, Vanessa Nakate,
Emmy-winning journalist Alicia Davis,
Rotary International President-elect Shaker Mehta,
Chairman of Eco-Eclectic Tech Group and Rotarian, Dr. Benish Desai,
occupational therapist and Rotarian, Sarah Tuberty,
hip-hop and classical ballet fusion performance group, Hiplay Ballerinas,
and our host, news anchor and Rotarian, Mark Wright.
Hello and welcome to the second general session of this year's Virtual International Convention. Today's session is focused on growth, personal and professional. While change can certainly feel daunting at times, President Holger would remind all of us that change is actually an opportunity to innovate, to diversify, and be open to new ideas. It brings potential to experience and accomplish things that we'd never dream of. For example, I never could have dreamed that I would be able to join President Holger and Suzanne in their home this year. I'm in Seattle. They're in Germany. We're not exactly neighbors. However, thanks to our virtual format, we are able to do just that. Hear from their very own kitchen teaching us one of their favorite recipes. Please welcome your Rotary International President and partner, Holger and Suzanne Kanak.
Welcome to our kitchen in Germany. I'm the first RI president never used his RI office. Probably the first RI president never traveled, but I think definitely the first RI president cooking together with Susan in our kitchen. And we are showing you our favorite dish, and that is white asparagus and potatoes. But what makes it so special, that's our sauce and that's the mayonnaise, what Suzanne and I prefer. And you just need eggs, oil, salt, pepper, mustard, and what makes it so special is plain yogurt. And now we are going to show you how we are peeling white asparagus. Okay.
So now the water is boiling, so I put in some butter, a little bit sugar, 2 teaspoons of salt, and then I throw in, I do it per hand, the asparagus. And now the asparagus need about 8 minutes.
Now I'm showing you how I'm producing my favorite mayonnaise. And this is so delicious, much more delicious if you buy it ready. So the only thing what you need, 2 egg yolks, some half a spoon of mustard, then some salt, of course some pepper, and what is important, lemon or lime juice, as you like it. So now whisking your thing, and this is the most important part. And now this is the secret, working with oil, and you should take grape oil or sunflower oil, no olive oil, because it should be more natural. So drip by drip, very slow, whisking and very slow drip. It becomes more and more solid. Now we can add more oil. It's not a problem. And now, and that's my favorite, to make it lighter, put please plain yogurt in this. It depends on how soft the mayonnaise should be. Look at that. 1/2 spoon again. Now it's done.
So now I think the asparagus is cooked. I show it if it's properly cooked, and I put the knife into the asparagus, and it has to go through by itself. Yes, it's okay. The asparagus is ready.
Thank you, Susan. So this is perfect cooked, as you saw. Thank you. Potatoes. We call it new potatoes from this year. And now the mayonnaise instead of sauce hollandaise. I tell you, as delicious but easier to do. And if you want, you can also add some bacon or ham, but that's not necessary. Thank you for joining us cooking together. We are not able to have a meal together, but we had the opportunity to cook together. Thank you very much.
Bon appetit!
Enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you for that demonstration, Holger and Suzanne. I took a little bit of German in college, so I'm going to attempt that now. Ausgezeichnet, jetzt habe ich Hunger. Now I'm hungry. You know, learning to cook new dishes is a great way to learn a new skill and learn about cuisines and cultures from all over the world. It opens our eyes and our minds to new flavors and experiences, and as a result, we grow. Being open to the voices and opinions of others is another way to experience that transformative growth. After all, embracing new ideas makes us stronger and more vital, even when we're at first resistant to that new idea. And never has this been clearer in the history of our organization than what followed the historic United States Supreme Court ruling that opened the door to women in Rotary. Returning from his home to introduce our next segment, please welcome back President Holger.
Thanks, Mark. Throughout Rotary's history, there have been many trailblazers. Sylvia Whitlock is one of these people of action. As the first female Rotary Club president, Sylvia was unknowingly at the forefront of the US Supreme Court case in 1987 that broke down the barrier for women to join in Rotary. In 2016, now President nominee Jennifer Jones sat down with Sylvia to record her story. It is a video that has never been played before. Let's take a listen to a portion of the conversation between these two historic firsts.
It is such an honor and a privilege to be sitting here with Sylvia Whitlock, what I consider the pioneer of women in Rotary and one of my absolute personal heroes. I'm so delighted to be able to have a chance to talk with you today. Take me back to the Rotary Club of Duarte, which was the club you eventually ended up joining. In 1977, there was an unsung hero who kind of started this charge. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, you know, Richard Key was the president of the Rotary Club of Duarte. And most Rotary clubs are concerned about membership and getting new members, and Richard was too. But the potential membership was in the women employees in the district, the women principals, the reporters, the psychologists, and so on. And most of the men understood that this was a membership issue, and they had no feelings about having women in the club. There was only one man who objected, and he did resign when the women were invited. We didn't think it was a big deal. The women who were invited to join Rotary thought, we're joining a service club that's addressing the needs of the community, and it's fine. And we weren't concerned about Rotary's constitution or its bylaws or anything. In fact, the district governor wasn't even concerned about it. Well, he was a little bit concerned because he said to Dick, when you send in these new members' names, use initials. The women were invited to be members. They got involved in community affairs. You know, we did the bake sales, we worked with the schools, we did everything. And it wasn't until Rotary International realized that there were women in this club that, you know, everything hit the fan. A Rotarian in another club in Arcadia said, I think we can take this to the courts. I think this is a civil rights issue. And so the club, Duarte, decided it would remain as is. It would just call itself the Ex-Rotary Club of Duarte. Big X over the Rotary icon, and it became the Ex-Rotary Club of Duarte. And the attorney proceeded to take it through the courts. It took 11 years.
When the Supreme Court ruling happened, did you or any of your club members attend that session where the ruling came down, or was it something that you picked up the phone and heard about?
No, I was on my way to school at 7 o'clock in the morning when I heard it on the news. The U.S. Supreme Court today, I almost drove off the road. But that day, I had no idea what the impact was going to be. We didn't know how big it was.
You became a district governor. and have been a voice of not only, I think, the female movement within Rotary, but the diversity movement within Rotary. Tell me how you've been able to weave those together.
I was talking at the International Assembly about women in Rotary, and that was a diversity issue, and he asked me if I would talk to the Assembly about diversity. So that following year I talked about it. So I had to look it up, and I thought, I'm a diversity, I have age, ethnicity, race, all kinds of things, gender. Because when I look around at gatherings of Rotarians, I don't see the diversity that there is in those communities. You know, and I think that's another issue, because I think as we serve people who are non-majority people, which is serving, we need to invite some of those people to come in and serve with us. We need to teach them how to fish and not just hand them a fish. Paul Harris never thought about women in Rotary. I bet he never thought about it, simply because he was working with a lot of men. I bet if somebody had asked Paul Harris, do you think women would be good Rotarians? He probably would agree they would be. I don't think he would have said no. You know, I think he would be proud of what women have added to it.
Thank you, Sylvia and Jennifer. It is my great pleasure now to officially announce that the Board of Directors of Rotary International has officially adopted a new award in recognition of Sylvia's contribution to advancing women in Rotary. The Sylvia Whitlock Leadership Award will be awarded annually to an individual, male or female, who has advanced opportunities for women to serve in our organization. We are very grateful for her continued leadership. And now, coming to us from her home in Windsor, Ontario, Canada, please welcome the President nominee of Rotary International, Jennifer Jones.
My 10-year-old niece Olivia calls herself a Rotary kid. A couple of weeks ago, she drew a picture of herself and she included the following words.
Different is always better, different is me.
My heart felt like it would burst. I love that she feels empowered to write those words. Each of us is unique, and that's what makes us special. And in Rotary, we know that our differences really are our strengths. It's our diverse perspective that helps us to tackle the world's most pressing challenges. No matter our background, we are drawn to each other because we know the power of our service. We've all felt it. We know the mysterious, powerful force that service creates, something aimed at others that ends up enriching our souls and creating greatness. Civil rights activist Dr. Martin Luther King once said, "Everyone has the power for greatness. Not for fame, but for greatness, because greatness is determined by service." My friends, we are going to accomplish great things together, and we're going to leave for future generations an organization that reflects the world they live in and that carries forth timeless values we treasure so dearly. Imagine a world that's becoming more aligned with the values of Rotary. We are in a season of outreach in Rotary. We've had to find new ways to connect, new ways to expand our arms a little wider. We've witnessed the strength of our clubs, and because of technology, we also see a Rotary that includes people we would have never come into contact with in other times, and who we can't wait to meet face to face as soon as we can. With this wider reach, it has become a broader, more diverse perspective. Rotary is built on service above self, and those acts of service apply to all people, of every gender, age, nationality, language, belief, or economic status. We are diversifying our friendships like never before. What makes Rotary so wonderful is that we get to share this experience together. We get to grow, to laugh, to dream, to hope, always together. Always knowing that a day in Rotary is a day well spent. It is my great honor to accept your nomination to be President of Rotary International in 2022-2023. Let me leave you with how I started. And with Olivia's words, different is always better. Different is me. Thank you for this amazing opportunity.
Wow, what an amazing speech, President nominee Jennifer. I love what you and Olivia had to say about being different, and I think that applies to all of us. We do things differently as Rotarians, and that's what makes us people of action. You know, 6 Rotarians were recently honored as People of Action, Champions of Health, in recognition for their work to improve the foundation of good health at home and across the globe. The work of these members has proven especially important and challenging due to the ongoing COVID pandemic. It's now my privilege to introduce one of them to you. Let's watch this brief video highlighting 2021 People of Action honoree and member of the Rotary Club of Timaru, New Zealand, Julie Dockrell.
It takes courage, belief and strength to change. I'm a passionate midwife and childbirth educator, given an amazing opportunity to be part of an incredible Trans-Tasman team travelling to Mongolia to introduce a national childbirth education course that has saved lives across the Mongolian landscape. Imagine you are pregnant in Mongolia, wanting to keep yourself and your baby healthy and safe, needing to know what's normal and what to expect. You seek that information, but there is nothing available. It took one phone call to a Rotarian in New Zealand by 2 pregnant ladies in Mongolia, and our course has been conceived. Together with other passionate midwives and a logistics guru, we launched our childbirth education course. At crucial times, the team connected and communicated with major hospitals, universities, health ministries, the rural remote communities of Mongolia and the government. We created translated manuals, embedded curriculums into universities, identified champions and providing teaching and resource materials. Over time, we added obstetric emergency training as we identified critical gaps in knowledge. Our team were inspired by Nelson Mandela's wisdom. Education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. We took an interactive, experiential learning approach that challenged traditional learning styles. However, this created joy, laughter, empowerment and trust amongst the health professionals and wise community leaders who completed the training. They all said, "Thank you for teaching me a different way to learn." The Mongolian champions are nurturing and guiding it towards sustainability. We know that this childbirth education course significantly contributed to a reduction in mortality and morbidity for mothers and babies by 40 to 60%. Childbirth education has saved lives, it has saved money, and it has empowered the Mongolian communities and its people.
You know, hearing about projects like Julie's always makes me proud to be a Rotarian. For me, being a Rotarian is about connecting and sharing knowledge, challenging each other to do better, and remaining open to growth so we can increase our impact. This is especially true when it comes to the Rotary Foundation, as our next speaker can attest. Family of Rotary, please welcome the Rotary Foundation Trustee Chair and past President of Rotary International, from the Rotary Club of Colombo, Sri Lanka, K.R. Ravi Ravindran.
My dear friends, early in 2020, when we set the goals for this year, we did so with hopes of high achievement, only to see COVID-19 posing so many challenges which threatened to derail our plans. History is full of catastrophes, rebirths, and incredible accomplishments that seemed impossible in the darkest moments. Rotary was born in Chicago in 1905. Only 34 years before that, the entire city burned to the ground with only a handful of structures still standing. Some wondered if it was even worth the effort to rebuild Chicago. But from this destruction came hope and vision. The great Chicago city planner Daniel Burnham drew up an entire new vision of the city that defined the landscape and set the stage for all the structures within it that stands today. He said about his ambitious city plan at that time, he said, "Make no little plans. They have no magic to stir men's blood and probably themselves will not be realized. But make big plans. Aim high in hope and work, remembering that a noble, logical diagram once recorded will never die, but long after we are gone, will see a living thing, asserting itself with ever-growing insistency. Remember that our sons and grandsons are going to do things that would stagger us. Let your watchword be order and your beacon beauty." Burnham's plans were adopted. Chicago grew, great skyscrapers rose, and Rotary was hatched in this atmosphere of optimism and ambition. On our part, incredibly, we have not only achieved much of what we set out to do, but in early January 21, we even exceeded them. We refused to allow the Rotary Foundation to be burnt to the ground. In fact, we thrived. Yet, this has been a perfect time to look at our own architecture and to envision a future foundation that will withstand every storm in the horizon. So this year, my friends, we laid the groundwork to enable our new area of focus on the environment to take off on July 1st, to inspire our clubs to think of innovative ways that will help us protect our planet and mitigate the growing threat of climate change. We also opened the doors to Rotaract clubs to apply for global grants. Beginning in 2022, Rotaractors will take on a new and important role in shaping the service projects that define us. We celebrated as Africa was declared wild polio-free, an important milestone in the marathon we run to end the scourge of polio. And we awarded our first project of scale grant that will make a major impact towards a 90% reduction in the incidence of malaria in Zambia, saving countless lives of children and pregnant mothers. And in doing so, receiving equal financial contribution from both the Gates Foundation and World Vision. We think this could be a precursor for the future, opening the door to corporations looking to partner with us to make a big impact on big projects. And then, I'm bold to tell you that because of an extraordinary pledge by the Otto and Fran Walter Foundation, we agreed to open a new peace center in the Middle East and North Africa region with no cost to us. Amidst all these ambitious steps, we also reflected on the formula we use for global grants, the flagship program of the Rotary Foundation. These grants have been so popular and so successful that we were becoming victims of our own success. In 2013-14, when global grants were introduced, the Foundation awarded 868 global grants worth $47.3 million. By 2019-20, the number of global grants awarded had risen to 1,359, worth $95.6 million. While global grants funding increased by more than 100%, corresponding Annual fund contributions did not keep pace, increasing by only 6% during the same time period. So we took the corrective action that was needed to ensure that global grants will be sustainable for years to come, even as we predict the demands for this program will grow further. And we are not stopping there. The Rotary Foundation has been exploring avenues of raising more funds from outside agencies. This year, in fact, we obtained $5 million from USAID to fund Italian COVID-related projects. Thus, my friends, it is with great pride that I report to you that even as we face these external challenges to help in forming a world which is stronger, a world which is more equitable, and a world which is more environmentally suitable. In short, the kind of world in which you and I and our children want to live in.
As global needs and challenges emerge and intensify, the demand for evidence-based solutions is stronger than ever. Through programs of scale grants, the Rotary Foundation is committing $2 million annually to support a member-led program ready to bring positive and sustainable change to communities and people around the world. By investing in proven methods that deliver measurable impact and can be scaled by members in the future, we believe programs of scale will lead to new learnings that will help improve all of our service projects. By scaling what works, we can increase our impact and leverage our collective expertise and connections. We are proud to congratulate our first Programs of Scale grant recipient, bringing together Rotary clubs from Zambia and the United States. Partners for a Malaria-Free Zambia will reach 1.3 million people and reduce the incidence of this deadly disease by 90% in the target areas by 2024.
It's clear that Rotary has a unique combination of global scale and strong local community engagement. This combination is simply transformational, and I'm excited to see the impact it will have in the fight against malaria.
The program has further enhanced Rotary's reputation as a leader in promoting global access to health care and demonstrated that with Rotarians' participation, a malaria-free Zambia is possible and has created opportunities for partnerships and knowledge sharing.
And here we're thrilled to be working with Rotary in Zambia because of the trust and the respect that our organizations have built over the years.
Programs of Scale also offers tremendous opportunities to share learnings inside and outside of Rotary, supporting our long-term vision to build a sustainable and equitable future for all. Together, we can make real change happen. We are Rotary. We are people of action. And now, I have the great pleasure of sharing with you that the 2021-2022 Programs of Scale Grant Competition is now open.
I think we all look forward to learning from this first program in Zambia and seeing which member-led project is next. And as we increase our impact in the world, both using foundation-funded grants and through the incredible service projects our clubs implement each day, we know that we need strong partnerships. So now, I'd like to introduce to you our valued project partner in disaster relief. Joining us now to tell us more is CEO of Shelterbox, Sanj Srikanthan.
Let me begin by thanking you for taking the time to be here under these changed circumstances for all of us. When I became the chief executive of Shelterbox, I'd hoped that I'd have the chance to meet many of you in person, because it is through these personal connections that we make that we can fulfill what I believe is our most important shared value, service to others. Last year, we helped people who faced the worst plight of all, not just losing their homes or being separated from those they love or not having the means to recover from disaster. The worst plight was that they thought that they had been forgotten, almost wiped from human knowledge. From the elderly lady in Sudan that had not been told what COVID-19 was, to the woman on a remote island in Vanuatu whose home had been destroyed by Cyclone Harold and had tears of joy when a shelter box arrived. We were able to help them remember that they were not forgotten, and it has been thanks to you. Ultimately, the last year has been a test of us all, but none more so than our shared calling to help others. We've never been more powerful as a species on this planet. As tragic, frustrating, annoying, and limiting as coronavirus has made our lives, we've never been so able to defend ourselves from the threats we face and overcome them together. Yet this virus has also shown us how much more we need to do. Families who have lost their homes due to disaster and conflict must now also contend with how to stay safe from this terrible virus when vaccines are not as available as quickly as in other countries. Rotary is the cornerstone upon which Shelterbox is built and remains in the DNA of everything that Shelterbox does. It was the Rotarians' People of Action spirit that founded Shelterbox in 2000, and because of Rotary's vast global network, our two organisations have helped 2 million people in 97 countries. We've been official partners in disaster relief for almost 10 years, and I believe our partnership truly increases the impact of both of our organisations worldwide. Through this partnership, you as Rotary members have an opportunity to get involved in disaster response, which can include hands-on service in community assessments after a disaster, project implementation, or even monitoring and evaluation. You can also take action through partnership by connecting your own community with disaster-affected communities worldwide. We at Shelterbox are truly honoured to work hand in hand with Rotary through this partnership. Rotary members are usually Shelterbox's first point of contact in a region impacted by disaster and help with every aspect of our deployment. By working together, we're able to combine resources to support areas immediately after a disaster and make a start on long-term recovery. At Shelterbox, we've got the means to be flexible, especially through our global partnership with Rotary, and we have the urgency of humanitarians to reach as many people as quickly and as far as we need to go. Shelterbox is about stepping in where others are often not there to help, and we pride ourselves on being led by people's needs and not funding. Thanks to the generous support of clubs, we can mount fast responses like we did to flooding in Tanzania, conflict-driven displacement in the Sahel and Syria, and typhoons in the Philippines. But the support Rotary members offer Shelterbox is vast, such as joining our Shelterbox response teams and being there in the moment that we distribute aid. Rotary members bring their knowledge and expertise through clubs like the Rotary Club of San Pedro Sula in Honduras, the Rotaract clubs of Asuncion and Asuncion Catedral in Paraguay, or clubs in Tanzania and Philippines that helped us get our aid on its way from arrival in country to the doorsteps of communities. Shelter is now not just a place to call home. It is a place to be safe. Families have moved out of crowded collective centres in India after Cyclone Amphan into our family shelters with cooking sets, water filters and mosquito nets thanks to Shelterbox, keeping them safer from the virus. Together we're getting ready for the challenges to come with increasingly unpredictable weather, changing our climate and testing our ability to respond in more places ever more urgently. Cyclones like Amphan in India and Bangladesh were not the worst thing to happen compared to the rains that followed week in, week out. Much worse than a typical monsoon and a growing trend. In other parts of the world, people are fleeing conflict to places with less water than ever. Thanks to our latest water filters from the Safe Water Trust, another Rotarian-founded organisation, they can turn almost any open source of water into safe, clean drinking water. This is what innovation, a passion to serve others, and partnership can achieve. It's not just been about the 200,000 people we helped together last year. It's the 2 million people we helped since a group of Rotarians who understood service to others formed Shelterbox 21 years ago. There is so much more that will be asked of us in the years to come. We will be reminded of our shared values time and time again and tested to live by them. I'm incredibly proud of what we've accomplished together, and I'm ready to stand with you to change the world for the better for families affected by disaster and conflict. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanj. As a Rotarian, I am so appreciative of our partnership with Shelterbox and all that we've been able to accomplish together. As Sanj said, there is so much more that will be asked of us in the years to come, especially when it comes to one of the most pressing issues of our time, the environment. Here to tell us more is climate activist and the founder of the Rise Up movement, Vanessa Nakate.
Hello, I would like to thank Rotary International for inviting me to address this year's Rotary Virtual International Convention. I'd also like to thank my father. From 2017 to 2018, my father served as the president of the Rotary Club of Bugolobi, Kampala. watching him work as the leader of the Rotary Mission Green, a project that saw his and various communities across Uganda planting trees, sowed a seed that made me decide to be a voice of change. His courage and action inspired me to find my voice, to stand up for what I believe is important, and to become an activist. During my childhood, I had my father and others talk about the rain and how it had always fallen and how the farmers could count on the rains to sustain their fields. But things were changing. Over the years, my father's generation had seen the rain falling less and less frequently, and the crops were suffering. But when the rain finally did come, it would fall in great downpours, often flooding the fields and destroying the already weakened crops. Farmers that my father knew were starting to lose their farms, their livelihoods. People were going broke. Food was starting to become more scarce. Food prices started to escalate. And this was increasing tension among people, and the situation was getting worse quickly. I was only 21 years old, but I could sense the urgency in his voice, and I knew I needed to find a way to help make things better. I started to carry out research about the changes in weather patterns. I am from Kampala, Uganda, a country that has one of the fastest changing climates in the world. As I grew up, I studied more and more about how the climate crisis was already ravaging vast parts of the African continent, which is tragic and ironic when you think about how Africa is the lowest emitter of CO2 emissions of all continents except for Antarctica. Each year, the entire continent of Africa contributes less than a third of the CO2 emitted by the United States. Historically, Africa is responsible for only 3% of global emissions, and yet Africans are already suffering some of the most brutal impacts fueled by the climate crisis. Rapidly intensifying hurricanes, devastating floods, and withering droughts. This is not just about the weather. This is about people. Many Africans have lost their lives, while countless more have lost their homes, farms, and businesses. And as we continue to heat the planet, the situation in Africa continues to get worse. Cyclone Idai was one of the worst cyclones to affect the African continent, ripping apart and flooding large parts of Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and Malawi. The strong winds and heavy rainfall left more than 1,300 people dead and many more recorded as missing. It also left an economic crisis. Last year, the water levels of Lake Victoria rose as a result of heavy rainfall in East Africa. Homes were flooded, farms were washed away, people were displaced, toilets were submerged, leaving a water crisis. East Africa was invaded by swarms of locusts brought on by heavy rainfall and abnormally warm temperatures. The locusts ate everything in their path. Crops were devoured, threatening the availability of food for the people in the region. Last year in September, massive flooding in Sudan killed nearly 100 people and made thousands homeless. The Nile regularly bursts its banks, and farmers rely on the flood waters to create fertile land. But people who live along the Nile say they had never seen nor experienced anything like the extent of last year's flooding. Southern parts of Africa have experienced terrible droughts that are leading to food insecurity and water scarcity. The water levels of Zambezi River, Lake Chad, and Victoria Falls are lower than they have been for decades. Lake Chad specifically has shrunk to a tenth of its original size in just 50 years. Over 5 years of drought in countries like Somalia have left almost half of the population with little to eat or drink, and half of Nigeria has no access to water. And according to Oxfam, 12 million people in Ethiopia, Kenya, and Somalia are in dire need of food. But with the rising climate-related disasters, this will only get worse. The droughts and floods have left nothing behind for the people, nothing except for pain, agony, suffering, starvation, and death. For every 1% increase in drought, there is a 2.4% decrease in agricultural output. Again, these are not just statistics. Less rain means farms will collapse. That means people will lose their livelihoods. Less rain means children will go hungry. And yet, while Africa endures an ever-increasing list of climate-related disasters, you wouldn't know it from watching the news. While the African continent is on the front lines of the climate crisis, it is not on the front pages of the world's newspapers. While the media focuses on wildfires in California or Australia or flooding in Europe, climate-related catastrophes in Africa receive very little coverage. What is the main response from the developed countries for the social and economic crisis fueled by the burning of fossil fuels? Greater and greater investment in the extraction of fossil fuels. I have one thing to say to countries and banks that continue to fund the digging up and burning of fossil fuels in Africa. We cannot eat coal and we cannot drink oil. My father taught me that you must stand up for what you believe in, for what you feel is right, and never give in. It is time for our so-called leaders to do the same. They must treat the climate crisis like a crisis. They must stop making empty promises and start to take responsibility. They must show the courage and resilience that my father all those years ago showed me was possible. Surely this is what Rotary International means, to be people of action. So let's stop talking and start taking action. And the action must start today. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that presentation, Vanessa. It's an honor to be working toward a more sustainable future alongside leaders such as yourself. You know, as many of you know, Rotary has just made the environment our newest area of focus. Even on an organizational level, we continue to grow and change. Our next convention segment will explore this further as we talk about Rotary's role in environmentalism and how you can apply it to your clubs, your communities, and your lives. Joining us now, please welcome Emmy-winning journalist Alicia Davis.
Thanks, Mark. You know, Mark and I were both presenters in the 2020 virtual convention, and I'm so excited to be back with you again for this year's virtual event. Thinking about the future and finding new ways to innovate and adapt, even as you stay true to your core values, is a crucial part of Rotary's action plan. This idea of ongoing change is particularly relevant when we discuss protecting our environment. Here to tell us more, please welcome Rotary International President-elect Shekhar Mehta. How has Rotary taken the environment into consideration historically?
You know, Rotary and Rotarians have always been very sensitive about environmental issues. Environment issues, in fact, have been all permeating over the various areas of focus that we have. So if we are working on WASH programs, let's say water and sanitation and hygiene, our programs have taken care of, let's say, putting up check dams. We have put rejuvenation of water bodies, or we've done water harvesting. So while the programs were about water, sanitation, but they were taking care of the environment. Similarly, health issues. The WASH program, when we put it in schools, it helped children's health tremendously. Hand wash, creating hand wash stations in schools was one great way of taking care of health. At the same time, it was an environmental issue. Menstrual hygiene management. Creating the program for menstrual hygiene management is a health program, but at the same time, making them reusable and with those no plastic covers, etc. So they become so environment friendly. So each of the things that we have been doing and directly about the environment, let's say using alternate energy like solar or even planting trees. Millions and millions of trees have been planted by Rotarians, or saying no to plastic, the crushing of plastic and using it for alternate things that can be produced out of it, cleaning up neighborhood beaches, etc. The programs that have been done over the years have all had a tinge of environmental issues with them.
So it's been a part of what you've been doing for a long time. And now, how does being environmentally responsible lead to new business opportunities?
Huge, I would say. It's a new area and a lot of people are trying to do a lot of things. Alternate energy is a big deal. A lot of work that can be done, solar energy, wind energy, even smaller things like, let's say, menstrual hygiene management. There could be a group of self-help women who form a group. They start the enterprise, they manufacture the pads. Then there are women who go and do the marketing of it. And then the users themselves are also women. These may be small enterprises, but very useful in rural areas and remote areas of the world. Impact on healthcare itself because of environmental issues can be so much. There can be such billions of dollars of savings because of the amount that we save on healthcare. Tree fruits, for example, being given to villagers and they planting those trees. Also, sustainable business has led to savings in the business of people, and money saved is money earned. And there are so many other things that are coming up. For example, recycling of waste, organic stores, I would say energy audit. These are other things that are growing up because we are focusing on environmental issues. So big things, big savings can be done when we work towards the environment.
It really connects to everything.
It does. It does. The environment is all around us and it does connect us.
Thank you, President-elect Shaker. It's great to hear how the environment has long been a part of Rotary through your areas of focus. Something I'd like to return to is what you said about recycling plastic to make alternate material, this notion of reusing waste. Chairman of the Eco-Eclectic Tech Group and member of the Rotary Club of Surat, Riverside, India, Dr. Binish Desai has been doing just that. Binish has been using waste to make eco-friendly materials, both protecting the environment and opening employment opportunities within his community. He is a shining example of a Rotarian taking action to do good in the world. Building on what President-elect Shaker said, he's with us today to tell us more about Rotary and the environment. Thank you for joining us, Binish. You've been connected with Rotary for quite some time. How did your journey start?
So my journey started at a very young age. I'm a second generation Rotarian, so I have grown up around Rotary. But the real journey actually started at the age of 11 when I invented my first brick. And then I changed it into my startup right after my Rotary Youth Exchange. But that's where I learned that I could pursue this as my career. So I came back home, and at the age of 16, I founded my first company of making these bricks. And the journey has been exciting ever since then. And what I've been doing is we convert waste into eco-economical and social innovations. We make more than 150 products out of waste. Being a Rotarian, that has helped me create a lot of change and live up this dream, may it be through the projects that we do with waste or creating an impact in rural India.
And when you began your journey, people were shocked that you wanted to work with trash and garbage. What is the value in seeing things that others don't?
When I started my journey, people thought I was crazy because coming from a small town and working with waste was a taboo back then. And that kind of created people being skeptical about, hey, what can be done out of it? But I've always believed that nothing in this world is useless. What can be a waste to you is someone's asset, and that kind of always believing in that idea helped me understand that the concept of waste does not exist in nature. It is us humans who have created it, so it's our responsibility to get rid of it sustainably. And sticking by that idea, and with the Rotary Youth Exchange experience helping me have that strength to follow my dreams, kind of made me stick by no matter what hurdles I got, overcome those challenges and be where I am today.
And what advice do you have for Rotarians who'd like to make sustainability a priority in their service projects?
Please do so, because today it's very much important for us to start having an action plan for sustainability, to be able to create an impact in our communities. Talking about climate change is more important than ever before. If you need any kind of help, let's connect all of us together. Let's all Rotarians join hands towards creating sustainability as one of the key understanding of how we can change our communities. As I said earlier as well, that it's very important for us to start taking action for creating an impact in the society through environment, and it's much more with Rotarians now joining hands as one family. And that's the best part about Rotary, and through this, and with youth now getting involved, with a lot of people now being aware of the sustainability and being very cautious about the environment, I see a much larger impact. I see, in fact, Rotary being one of the leaders and leading change makers in climate, in the fight against climate change. And I think that's something that I really look forward to for Rotary in the next 5 years.
Thank you, Binish and President-elect Shaker, for your insights. It's so exciting to hear about what Rotary is doing to protect the environment. I would like to encourage you, our viewers, to consider what you can do to live sustainably. What actions can you take within your Rotary clubs, in your communities, and in your own lives to help protect the environment? Let's work together to make a difference and preserve our planet. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those excellent interviews. President-elect Shaker and Binish, please know that Rotarians all over the world are keeping India in our thoughts as you continue to navigate the COVID pandemic. We are so grateful you were able to join us. We're fortunate to be part of a global community. You know, we support each other however we can, in good times and in moments of crisis. That's what makes Rotary so special. Our next speaker has witnessed this herself and has personally experienced how this sense of community can change lives. Here to share her story, please welcome occupational therapist and member of the Rotary E-Club of Silicon Valley, Sarah Tuberty.
My mother raised me in a Rotary world where I grew up going to Rotary Club meetings and service projects and different district level events. And what I really loved about this was that I saw and worked with members from our community that were working hard together to ensure that these projects were completed, that we were fundraising for different things that were supporting our communities, but also having fun while doing it. And finding that this building friendships is a really crucial tool to doing hard work together. And that's what helps provide really wonderful meaning. As I grew up, I became a Rotary Youth Exchange student and spent my junior year of high school abroad. And I became really connected to all of these really incredible individuals from lots of different countries that were then able to teach me about what are their values and what is it that they find important, what are the things to really celebrate for who they are and the things that they had found really passionate and the projects that they really believed in. And then we became really good friends in becoming really well connected and hearing and learning. And then I feel this connection to who they are and they feel connected to who I am. On my return, I became involved in various Rotary programs. I started with Interact and then became a member of Rotex and Rotaract, and now I'm a full-fledged Rotarian. And these were really impactful for me as all of them gave me a variety of different professional development opportunities. I had really incredible mentors who helped teach me to really think critically about the world that I was in and to help think about what are the things that are really needed to help listen, to help really see and identify what are the needs and what are ways that we can work together to help address them. I loved that these programs helped create spaces for myself to find my voice and to really follow the projects that I was passionate in, and to really become connected and develop really good friendships with individuals to help, so I could help support them in their projects. They could help support me in the projects that I was involved in, and then how can we work together to help just create positive impact in our communities. And as a member of both the disability community and the Rotary community, I was able to find ways to bring both of these together to help create projects such as an accessible playground. And while engaging in the various fundraising opportunities and helping to sit at the table and provide input on what were the different components for what was needed to be included in an accessible playground, we were helping to educate ourselves and those around us as far as what is the disability community and what are some of the barriers that they're facing that limits their access, and what are things that we can do to help remove those barriers. Because when we have access, we as people can engage in all of the things that we find meaningful, that we need to and want to do throughout our lives. And this is really the power of Rotary, is collaborating with each other and connecting with each other and our communities to help create positive, impactful change. And when we help give and mentor and create spaces for our youth to engage in the different projects and programs that they see meaningful, that's going to benefit all of these communities, we can help grow them into becoming really impactful leaders so that all of us can grow and create impactful change. And we do this best when we work together.
Sarah, thank you for that wonderful personal presentation. And now, dear friends, I have the great honor and distinguished pleasure of reading a message to all Rotarians from His Holiness Pope Francis. I send cordial good wishes to all taking part in the 2021 Rotary International Convention to be held virtually from 12th to 16th June. In light of the need for greater fraternal solidarity among all the members of our human family in facing the challenges of a post-pandemic world, I encourage all Rotarians to place their particular entrepreneurial expertise and generosity at the service of each of our brothers and sisters, especially the most vulnerable. Upon those participating in the convention, I gladly invoke God's blessings of wisdom and peace. Signed, Franciscus P.P.
We would like to thank His Holiness Pope Francis for taking part in our virtual convention. We're just about at the end of today's program, but before we bring this session to a close, we have some really exciting entertainment to share with you. The Hipley Ballerinas, based out of the Chicago Multicultural Dance Center in the USA and specifically designed to bring the art of ballet to all. Hipley is a fusion between classical point technique, hip-hop, and a variety of other urban dance styles. It is this fusion that makes them the perfect fit for our session about growth. Family of Rotary, the Hipley Ballerinas.
Hi, we're Hipley Ballerinas and we're from Chicago, Illinois.
And we're so excited that Rotary International has invited us to participate in this virtual convention.
And we would like to say thanks to all the Rotarians across the globe for doing good in this world.
We're proud of what you do in making the world a better place.
Time they got left, D?
They got about 10 seconds.
Think they ready?
Someone would find out, man.
I want every genre to stand up and bump to this.
Let's do it.
Grab your strings.
Grab your strings.
Your mics, your guitars. Let's get it poppin'. Who's in the building? Whatever you got. Nothing but strings. Let's get it poppin'.
Part of the song where it breaks down. You know, grab that special lady and bring her to the dance floor. And just
get on your good foot and step, just a little bit. Get on your good foot and step, just a little bit. Get on your good foot and step, just a little bit. Let my music just move when you run it. Get on your good foot and step, just a little bit.
Now rockin' with nothing but strings.
Just a little bit. Get on your good foot and step.
Get on your good foot.
Let my music just move.
Don't be shy, miss.
Get on your good foot and step, just a little bit. Get on your good foot and step, just a little bit. Get on your good foot and step, just a little bit. Let my music just bring the beat back.
Thank you all for joining us for today's general session. Our next general session will take place in a few days on Wednesday, the 16th of June. But between now and then, please enjoy our virtual platform, earn some badges, try one of our trivia games, and network with Rotarians from all over the world. I encourage you to make the most of our virtual format, learn new skills, and grow. See what I did there? See you next time.